Hello, Chairwoman Kowalski, Board of Education members, Dr. Jones, GPS staff and community members. This presentation is focused on providing initial evaluation and demographic data, as well as an update on the district profile and performance report, staffing trends, due process and mediation numbers, and SBAC results. The initial referral information provided in the following slides has been hand calculated, as the Connecticut State Department of Education does not collect this information, and it is not part of the information inputted into our CPSEDS, which is our data special education system. As such, there could be errors in the exact numbers, but the information overall provides an accurate picture of the initial evaluations being completed. As you can see, the number of preschool referrals has continued to increase between the 2022-23 school year and the current school year of 2023-2024. Initial referral requests come from two sources, the school or the parent. As you can see in this slide, the majority of referrals are in relation to concerns around academics, followed by concerns about behavior and attention. When a referral is made, a PPT-1 is held and the school staff and parents meet to determine if testing is warranted. At this PPT-1, the team will review classwork and standardized tests, as well as discuss observational and anecdotal data and make a determination to move forward with testing if the team feels that the student might have a disability that requires special education services. With the development of the MTSS process and the focus of providing intervention earlier, you can see that this year there are more referrals for students in the first and second grades. The district is working on identifying student needs and providing supports earlier to ensure that the appropriate supports and services are provided. The majority of students in the elementary grades are identified under the OHI or ADD category or as a student with a learning disability. While there are middle school referrals for academics, the primary concerns that trigger a referral is for social, emotional, or behavioral and attentional issues. As the concerns regarding the need for special education and supports is based on social, emotional, behavioral needs, referrals do come from all grade levels, 6th, 7th, and 8th. As you can see in this slide, eligibility at the middle school level is not primarily a result of a learning disability, but due to social, emotional, and behavioral needs. The number of high school referrals drops significantly, which is what we would expect as students get older. The primary source of referrals is from parents concerning academics. As shared on the previous slide, in general, it is expected that as students get older, there would be less referrals. That is the case as students progress through high school as well. For our older students, needs in the area of social, emotional, and behavior are the primary reasons they require special education support. This is an overall snapshot of the initial referrals completed by the district kindergarten through 12th grade. The majority of referrals do come from elementary school, looking at students who are struggling academically, whereas the elementary level, the primary referrals are due to social, emotional, or behavioral needs. Again, this slide provides an overall understanding of the different disabilities that we have been making eligible these last 2 years. The following section will provide some basic demographic data that is collected by the state on October 1st of each year. Following that October 1st collection, the district works with the CSDE to verify each student and results are certified as accurate in April or May of the following year. The number of students eligible for special education has been increasing in both pre-K as well as in the K through 12th grade. One of the areas that CSDE monitors is what percentage of students are in general education 80% of the time or more. As you can see, the district has been increasing that amount of time from 75.9% in 2018-19 to 79.8% in the 22-23 school year. While our special education numbers are growing, the percentage within each disability area is staying relatively stable. Students who are ADHD are included in the other health impaired category, and students identified as dyslexic are included in the learning disabilities category. To meet the eligibility for ADHD or dyslexia, you need to meet the criteria from the larger category. This graph shows the trends of disability eligibility from the 2018-19 school year through the 2022-23 school year. Over the past 5 years, eligibility under OHI has statistically increased, while the other disabilities are remaining relatively stable. Special education student race is a data point collected by the Department of Education so that they can monitor for disproportionality. Greenwich was found to be disproportionate in 2022 based on the past 3 years of racial data. Disproportionality is determined when the district is at a 3 or above in the relative risk ratio for more than 3 years without showing any substantial decrease. However, with consistent processes in place across the schools, the district was able to become disproportionate in all areas in 2023. This slide represents the 4-year graduation rate trends for students with disabilities. While some students with disabilities opt for community connections or a 5th year of service, which impacts this rate, this information will need to be further disaggregated to determine the next steps in increasing the graduation rate. This graph shows the trends for both students with and without disabilities graduating from high school and enrolling in a post-secondary program. There is also data from the classes of 2016 to 2019 on completing their college program. Each year, the State Department of Education releases a special education district profile and performance report of specific indicators. This information is for the 2021-2022 school year. On indicators 1 through 6, the district met all of the targets set out by the State Department of Education. On indicators 7 through 10, 12, and 13, the district met all of the targets set out by the State Department of Education. The district was substantially compliant with 96.6% of initial evaluations completed in accordance with state timelines. The district was also in substantial compliance with chronic absenteeism at the 20.4%, with the goal being 20%. Looking at the results of the initial referral data, many of our secondary students were referred to special education for social, emotional, or behavioral concerns, some of those stemming from chronic absenteeism. The last page looks at participation and performance in the Smarter, Balanced, and Alternative assessments. The district met participation targets in ELA and math in 4th and 8th grade. We did not meet the participation target in the 11th grade for the SAT. The district also did not meet the closure of the proficiency gap in the area of math. It should be noted that since 2021-22, many of our elementary special education staff have been working with Mike Reed in implementing the Bridges Intervention Program for additional support for our special education students. Every year, the district provides staffing numbers to the state and are posted on EdSite. This slide shows that since the 2019-2020 school year, the number of special education teachers has increased by 12.9, mental health staff of 7.1, and paraeducators by 55. Those numbers do not include the additional positions put through mid-year in the interim request, 3 teachers and 1 school psychologist. It should be noted that the 103 listed for the paraeducators was the number of paraeducators on payroll at a specific time, and not the FTE allocated, which is 118 K through 12 paras and 41.5 preschool paras. As of April 16th, there were a total of 4.4 para vacancies of the total number of paras. At our request, the CSDE Due Process Division provided the following information on due processes, mediation, and state complaints for Greenwich. All information for the 23-24 school year is year to date at the time it was pulled in late February. This slide shows the number of state complaints that were filed by families with the State Department of Education. This slide shows the mediation data for 2021 to 2023 year to date and shows that the trends for mediations have been consistent over the past few years. The number of due process filings has increased the past year. One reason is that the law requires that the district file in cases where an IEE is denied. In some cases where the district has needed to file, but then later been able to work in collaboration with the family, the request is withdrawn. The final section of the presentation will take a look at the trends of SBAC data for student progress, as well as amongst surrounding districts. This slide looks at the ELA performance trends for special education students taking the SBAC who score proficient or better. Please note that the 2019 to 2020 and 2020-2021 SBAC data is not available due to COVID. This also interrupts the ability to follow a cohort of students. For example, students in 3rd grade in 2015-16 would have been in 7th and 8th grade during those 2 missing data years. This slide looks at the percentage of students who met their growth target in ELA. The SESS department is currently working and meeting with schools to look at how we can increase growth rate in order to help close the gap. As discussed for ELA, this is a similar slide that looks at the math performance trends for special education students taking the SBAC who scored proficient or better. Again, the department is looking at this data and working with schools on how to look at increasing student growth in order to increase proficiency and close the gap. Based on the unofficial numbers, Greenwich has 15.6% special education students. In comparison to the other surrounding DERG A and B schools, we sit right in the middle of eligibility. In ELA Smarter Balanced Achievement for grades 3 through 8, 28.4% of special education students met proficiency. Our SAT results for ELA are similar to Trumbull. Weston, Westport, and New Canaan did not report results as their student population for this metric would be identifiable. Where the earlier slides looked at SBA growth for language arts by grade, students with disabilities have an average growth ELA score of 31.4. In Math Smarter Balanced Achievement for grades 3 through 8, 26.3% of special education students met proficiency. Our SAT results for math are hard to compare as many districts did not report scores. Our SBA math growth is similar to both Westport and Fairfield at 36.9%. This represents our overall NGSS achievement. However, as you can see in the following slides, Fairfield is the only other district that has had disaggregated scores in all 3 grades. Grade 5 NGSS is difficult to compare as only 2 other districts had scores to report. Grade 8 NGSS shows that we are ranked 4th when compared to the 5 reporting other districts. Again, comparison is difficult for grade 11 NGSS. What this and previous slides show in all areas, ELA, math, and NGSS science, a deeper look at student progress needs to be made to look at how content for success can be provided. Thank you for taking the time to listen to the presentation.